Oh, what a night.
You say something?
What a night. Yeah, there seems to be something in my throat.
Man, it can happen now. It can happen.
How is it that you sound normal? You are bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to do the show, and I am an absolute wreck.
I mean, I'm a fucking savage, first of all. And I think we know that. And second of all, yeah, I'm ready for tonight, too. We got a cracking game. I mean, this is a Seahawks podcast, but yeah. Come on, bro. We got to send it one more time. So.
We will. No, don't worry. I'll send it without a voice tonight. It's all good.
Yeah, I'll do the screaming for you.
We've been partying, guys, because I'm up here in Seattle. Producer Katie's up here in Seattle for this crazy sports weekend, and we've been partying. And speaking of parties, just real quick, shout out to everyone who came out to Rhine House in Seattle. We were able to raise over $500 for Special Olympics Washington with the raffle and all of that. So it was good to see and meet people and do a fun live event for the first time, and they'll only get bigger and better as they go along, Lofa.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to the Rhine House, too.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there was even more. I'm struggling, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get through it.
He's getting teared up over here?
No, there was just there. Well, last night I did get teared up, and we'll talk about all of that at the end of the show. Maybe we'll touch on Matt Hasselbeck's Ring of Honor enshrinement and all of that, because it was a huge night for the Seahawks. And, of course, there was the game. But, Lofa, you want to get it started?
Let's do it, partner.
All right, buddy. Let's hit the theme song.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up, get him up, get him up. On three. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch.
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy catfish.
Hey, that's great football now.
It's going to work now. Keep playing.
Who's got my back?
I got your back.
That's Lofa.
The player.
Trouble playing. Thunder. On one, ready, please.
Russell looking. Russell scrambling. Pump faking. Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got to fly, baby.
40 down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go.
Yes. 20, 10. They do it again. Touchdown. 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 Seahawks. 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 Seahawks.
It's the Seahawks podcast. It's the Seahawks podcast. Oh, no. On the Believe Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Seahawks superfan and voiceless Brett Davern. Thank you, producer Katie, for the water. He is Seahawks legend Lofa Tatupu. I'm going to struggle my way through this one, guys. I'm struggling my way through it. My mom and dad are here. They're sitting in, listening live in the room. But, guys, big time sports weekend in Seattle, and it ended sort of with a Seahawks loss that we must get into on today's episode. The Seahawks were a couple of missed field goals away from getting back into the W column, but they came up a few points short. Lofa, we got to go through it, man, and we got to talk about the upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You ready to do that?
Let's do it, brother.
Okay. You guys can email the show anytime, seahawkspod@gmail.com, or also follow us on all social media at Believe in Seahawks, spelled our way. Hopefully, as I keep talking, the voice will warm up and finally catch up. Live reads. BetOnline.ag, your online wagering experts. The best place to put a wager online is BetOnline.ag. Looking over the email, Lofa, Jimmy Betts says Jacksonville at Seattle -3 for Seattle with an over-under of 44.5. So I don't know what you think about that, but
I think they think it's a must-win.
If you got real thoughts, you could put those over at betonline.ag. Everybody, use our promo code.
Is it still Believe 50?
I don't know.
Or did you change it on me?
It's Believe. BLEAV.
Thank you, producer Katie. We're back to just believe, everybody.
Unbelievable. Pun intended.
All right, well, let's get right into it, Lofa. Sorry, everybody, I'm struggling. Clearly, the Seahawks lose to the Saints on Monday night. Lofa, your thoughts. Talk for me, please.
I mean, it was an ugly game, kind of start to finish.
Yeah.
13-10. It was a very low-scoring affair, which we were wrong on our prediction from a week ago. But I think it's really because the type of football we're forced to play right now with Russell Wilson out is grind. We got to grind out every minute, every second. And because as you have seen, when they're not on the field for 80 plays, the defense holds up rather well. So we tried. I know it wasn't pretty with the stats rushing wise, like 2.2 per carry or whatever. And, but it was necessary to at least drain some clock because it was about 32 to 27 in terms of time of possession. And that I'm not going to argue with because we need our defense to be as fresh and as healthy as they can.
Absolutely. I mean, we could get right into Geno time, right? Second start in a row, because he came in during the Rams game, but third time when he's got the game on the line at the end, chance to go win it. Obviously that didn't happen, but just about his game overall, 12 of 22 for 167 and a touchdown, no interceptions. I mean, most of the yardage came on the one big play, 84 yards to DK. So, I mean, he only completes 12 passes for the whole game. Lofa, your thoughts on Geno's game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him because, he hasn't done anything. I know the fumble from a week ago and even the interception to end the Rams game, but, he's given us a chance. He really has. And that's what you want in a backup. You hope they only have to play a couple games and that they keep you competitive and possibly win. And we've had our chances to win these games. So he didn't turn the ball over, which, that's what we need. It's going to be required, and we need to start getting more opportunities on defense. But from overall standpoint, only criticism was maybe he held the ball a little too long. Protection was pretty solid all night. It wasn't a case where guys were just coming free completely. He had like maybe one, and then that was probably the Jenkins one at the end. It was a bad sack. He knows he sees the guy coming free. You got to get rid of the ball. But there's a couple times he just held on a little too long, and you got the happy feet and. The pocket and protection was clean. You got to step up in that pocket and then just do a check down. I mean, you saw Jameis all night, Kamara, check down. And I mean, one of them 4 yards. It was just like, it's there with Homer, especially Homer, man.
I really I don't get this. I mean, we saw it starting with Russell Wilson. I mean, how many times we talked about that he's got to get rid of the ball, holds on to it too long. And we thought maybe it's just a Russell Wilson-centric problem. But now you got Geno, who, he comes out, he rips it. He ripped that first pass to DK. When he was getting the ball out early, we look good. As the game goes on, he tightens up, holds on too long. And now we're seeing it happen, like I said, with Geno, not just with Russell. So is it something in the Seahawks? Why do all of our quarterbacks sort of fall into this? And when we're playing other teams who, like Geno, I mean, Jameis, he's just getting it out, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Russell's case, there's been how many times have we said no? Oh my God, yes. And so that's you can't take the good with the bad when it comes to Russ. I mean, there's so many times where you're like, oh, you just got to get rid of the ball, and then 60-yard touchdown. And so
I know.
But yeah, it's something that they'll address. I guarantee you, it's something that Pete and Shane will be talking to him about. It's like, hey man, like. You had this, and I mean, I'm telling you what, for as decent as Jameis played, he missed guys all night. There were guys running scot-free.
Yeah.
I went back, watched it again today, and I mean, there were several guys he missed that are just standing there, nobody around him, arms up, like, what's up? Like, where's the ball?
So to you think this is a problem more with these two players, Russell and Geno, and not with the system?
Well, it's a different system, so I mean, I don't know where you really put the focus.
Just saying, it's two Seahawks quarterbacks in a row. I mean, so it seems to me that when we play these other teams where they get the ball out early, it must be about our players then, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but also, defensively, the Saints, pretty good defense. They're solid. They took away the run game completely, even though we did try to at least, help. Because even on the long pass to DK, that was off play action, and it brought a couple guys up, but it was just shot down the sideline, and it was just a great effort by DK.
Well, let's talk about DK because, I mean, that first pass, I was like, wow, DK is going to go for like 250 today,
Man, felt like it.
Only ends up with 2 catches on 5 targets. he had 84 yards on the one catch, and then I think the remainder for that other catch was 8 yards. So what's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they started, helping out in coverage or, going more too high, cover 2 and quarters, given, and Lattimore's, he's a hell of a competitor, man. He's fierce. So, you got your work going cut out for you when you face a cornerback like that.
It looked like DK was under his skin early. He gives up the 15-yarder when we were backed up on the goal line. And I thought right away, okay, DK's in his head. He's already had the one long touchdown. This is going to be the game where DK Metcalf just absolutely goes off. And then, he had the 5 targets, but 5 targets for a guy like DK Metcalf in his 3rd year is ridiculous, I think, from a play calling standpoint.
It's what's being dictated. I mean, what do we had 22 pass attempts total.
Yeah.
So we got about a quarter of them, but it's still, I know it's the game we're forced to play right now is what I'm trying to say, is because otherwise you would love to see 10 targets for him, 10 targets for Lockett. That's what they both, should be averaging. And then everybody else, you're going to get 3 or 4 touches. But, but we did, we remained true and tried to get that ground game going with Collins. I think he had 15 or 16 carries. We probably had close to like 25, 30 carries as a team. So like I said, I know it's not pretty, but we have to grind these wins out until Russ comes back.
Oh, I hear you, man. And Alex Collins, he's got to be in the ice tub today, right? I mean, he would just that guy, he does not avoid contact, and he was getting a lot of contact. And, man, he was trying, but, we couldn't get him.
Yeah, Alex had a really solid game. He made a lot of no gains, turned into 4 or 5 yards. That 3rd and 1, he had an opportunity to cut it downhill, and you just need 1 yard, and he kind of danced a little bit, and we got stopped. That was just pretty big.
What about Tyler Lockett? I mean, 2 catches for 12 yards, only targeted 3 times. I mean, you pointed out the lack of attempts, which is a great point by you, but only two targets for Tyler Lockett. He's got to have more. 3 targets, but
yeah. Got to be 8 to 10 of the. If you're going to throw it 22 times, him and DK each need a third. So like about 7 or 8 of those both their ways, because they just do big things after the catch with it. And so that's it's unfortunate that he didn't get the volume that he needs.
Now, from a personal standpoint, it was interesting because producer Katie and I are there at the game in the stands. We're in the 300 level, rocking it. Section 326, I think 328. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out for sure. I heard you.
Yo, man, we were having a good time, man. That's why I have no voice today. We were having a good time. But on a personal note, producer Katie and I also happened to be playing a fantasy football game against each other in our league this week.
Ooh.
And Tyler Lockett was the only player she had left, and I was up on her by 4 points.
Oh.
And I would have loved nothing more than to lose because Tyler would have gone off.
Yeah.
He didn't. And I ended up winning the game.
4 points.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Wow. Man, that's tough. Sorry, Katie.
Interesting little game on the side.
Yeah.
Let's talk defense, man.
Well, before we go there, I'm first in that league. Okay, now we can talk defense.
You're in first. I'm in third. I'm in third. Where are you first?
Yeah, I'm at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Lofa, defense.
Yeah.
Can you take it for me?
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah. I mean, you give up 13 points, you expect to win an NFL game. Yeah. And right. So, and again, we were on the field for 70-ish plays, I think, something like that, which is a lot of volume, but it was only 30 minutes of clock. So it was almost pretty even. And, that's what I'm talking about, the wear and tear on guys. You saw us get worn down in those Tennessee games, in the, even Minnesota, right? And so I'm encouraged that the offense is helping us out as much as they can. Now, what we need to do, we need to take the ball off them. We need to get more takeaways.
Absolutely.
Pete has preached this since college days. And when we were winning championships, when Seattle was winning championships too, they were dominating the turnover margin. And so we got one fumble. I don't know if it was Blair. Blair and Wags got there. If Blair didn't get it, Wags was coming with that haymaker, that peanut punch. So it was just good to see that the intent was there in the minds of some of these guys. I saw them, punching and scratching to get the ball out, which that's been missing the last couple of weeks. And
absolutely. Look, I thought defensively I was encouraged. Like you said, you only give up 13 points, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you should win that game. And they're getting some sacks. They were getting after them, the turnover. But, you know, we missed 2 field goals. I mean, right after that turnover, the fumble you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then, you know, we take a sack, I
Take
think,
a sack.
up and then miss the field goal. And it was tough because I feel like the defense did show up. I want to give them credit. I mean, even on that long drive where they converted 2 fourth downs, we still only end up giving up a field goal, you know?
Yeah.
So shout out to the defense, I think.
And I think we had a chance at was that in the first half or whatever. If Brooks comes down with that ball in the end zone, that's huge. So I mean, it's we're close. They come in bunches, they say. So hopefully we get like 3 or 4 per game the next few games. But it's always a telling factor, and it's something that, you know, we lived on in Pete's days at SC, and then here when Seattle was at the top defensively.
Well, a guy who needs some turnovers in the next few games. It's time to talk about Jamal Adams again for the 3rd week in a row. Lofa, how many tackles do you think Jamal Adams had in the game?
I'm gonna say at least 6, 7.
2. How many assists do you think he had in the game?
Hopefully 5 or 6.
0.
Ooh.
How many sacks?
No, I know that one. 0, right?
0. How many interceptions? How many fumbles? 0, 0, 0. Guys, he had 2 tackles for the entire game. I mean, maybe 1. Oh, and no pass breakups, by the way. None officially. There was the 1 long pass down the sideline. The guy didn't catch it. Jamal kind of got there late. I mean, he was coming, but the guy didn't catch the ball. It's not a true pass breakup. I mean, Jamal Adams, guys, like, what is going on? I mean, I just keep waiting for the big play, for something to happen, and it just game in and game out. It doesn't. Even just a sack or even half a sack at this point. I mean, come on. He was
noticeable in the run game, though, and we did shut down that run game. So I saw him in the backfield.
Even though he's not making a tackle, he's making an impact?
It is.
Okay.
You know, it's called like a disruptive miss. So, like, you get in the backfield or, I saw –
a disruptive miss. That's what I was in high school. That's what all my teachers said.
But it's
that was mess. That was disruptive mess. Sorry, my bad.
Close.
my mom from the corner reminding me it's disruptive mess. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, this is a miss. So it's like there was even one. He beat the block, got in the backfield, made the running back stutter his feet, and then someone else came and got the guy. You know, I mean, he was right there though, and that is putting the pressure, taking the fight to them. And so I think he saw that. There's another time he made the tackle, but there was one where, you know, everyone's going to get on him like, oh, you got to make that tackle. I mean, I get it. I know what the average fan's thinking in terms of like, okay, highest paid safety, you got to make that tackle. But there's a lot of guys that don't put themselves in that position. They don't get back there. You know, they'll wait for the ball to break and then they'll just make a tackle 3 yards down the field. And so I want the aggressive guy. I'll go get it. You know.
Oh, sorry. Producer Katie muted me so I could cough, and then we weren't in sync on coming back online there.
Great teamwork there.
I mean, look, I mean, I just it's something we got to keep talking about because I know I'm with you. I hear you, all of the above, but the guy is the highest paid safety in the league. He deserves to have the spotlight on him, right? And so it's something we got to keep looking at and talking about. Let's move on, though. Officiating. Again. Man, we get a sack. I think it was on a 3rd down. We're getting them off the field. And then here comes a flag for a roughing the passer on a sack. What is going on in the NFL? I mean, unless it's a face mask or a horse collar or a clothesline, I don't want that called. And I don't think average NFL fans or even not average NFL fans, anyone who can see, realizes that is kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It didn't – on some replays, it looked like it was, the crown of the helmet. On the other ones, from the back view, where I think the flag was thrown, it looked like he hit him in the chest. So, I don't know, maybe – and I know it's going to suck, but slowing down the game, to review him, if we can go back to that, the pass interference was reviewable. I mean – it's just we were off the field there. right? And if anything, Bobby's got his leg. Blow the whistle. Like if you want to protect the quarterback, blow the whistle.
Well, later in the game, or I don't know if it's later or before. Actually, the timeline is all off for me. But there was one point where Gino, they got him by the leg, and someone's coming in over the top, and there's no flag on that one. I mean, it's just the inconsistency, and I get it. The game is fast, and I know all of the variables. I understand all of that. I'm just saying that if you're going to call one, you've got to call the other, or maybe not call any of them, or review them, or something. But guys, when it's a clear sack and the quarterback still has the ball, and the defenders are going after him, I mean, come on! Like, what do you want them to do? And that was a chance for us to get off the field, and that's what bugs me the most.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's happened so fast, in Blair's mind, because I think it was Marquise. He's not thinking like, oh, let me use my shoulder and no, get him down. He's a big quarterback, that's strong. Jameis is strong. And so, I don't know what you want to teach. You want to teach, hey, go for the ball. Like if someone's holding him up, just go for the ball. I don't know what else because it's just getting a little ridiculous.
You have to start putting a red, practice jersey on.
The practice jersey.
And at that point, don't even put a helmet on. Don't put anything on. You'll be the designated quarterback. No touch. Go out there and distribute the ball. I mean, what do they want?
Yeah. I mean, in that Texans Cardinal game, there was a guy came scot free up the middle, and Kyler just kind of ducked, and I mean, it was just a good hard hit, and they threw a flag on it. I couldn't believe it.
Not a good encroachment penalty by Al Woods on the field goal. I mean, it gave up the first down. That was just a real backbreaker, and we just have these in such bad moments, don't we?
I mean, it's never a good time to have a penalty, but fourth and 5, it allowed them to chew up another minute and a half of clock, and it's just I know we weren't able to do anything with it, but it's just, man, you never know if he misses that kick, right, from that distance.
Yeah. Anything else you want to go over from this game before we move on to the next one?
Alvin Kamara, my God. You can't get out of here without talking about that guy.
Well, how do you not cover him?
They were. We started doubling him. That's
wow.
Yeah. And I mean, we put one of our best athletes, Neil, on him, and one of our toughest competitors, right? And it's just, honestly, if you go back, if there was a way to put Ugo on him, then I think that's what that's the best matchup. But again, he might be a little too strong for Ugo. It's just it's a mismatch nightmare. I would have trusted Bobby with him, but I mean, chasing him around all game, it would have, we need Bobby to do other things. So it's I don't know if we want to waste our best defender on him like that.
How in the world did the Seahawks not run a similar game with their offense where the quarterback is able to find the guy underneath in a similar fashion? I understand that we don't have Alvin Kamara, and
I know
he'll do as much afterwards, but it's just, God, watching them do that to us is the most frustrating type of football to watch.
Oh man, the ones that do it the best, like the Bills. Yeah. I mean, if you watch their offense, they are sending 3 deep almost every play, on nothing shorter than 18 to 20 yard routes. And guess what? That leaves man to man. And if you don't go get your guy, so there's a timing principle, especially on the goal line. Jameis dropped the ball, had time to pick it up, scramble out to the side and get it to Kamara. And the timing principle there, especially when you're tight quarters, in the red zone, the secondary doesn't need as much underneath help because the windows are so shrunk. They're tiny now. They're way smaller than they are out in the field. So in your head, when that guy breaks, it's man coverage. Go get him now. And we were on both guys, the tight end too. We were 8 yards away from our initial coverage. And so coverage principles got to be a little tighter, literally. I mean, we got to get to our coverage, but I can't take away anything that Alvin Kamara did, man. There was times when we had him covered, he still caught it. There was times where, we had him dead to rights, he made you miss. And I mean, I was happy we held him to 50 yards rushing or whatever it was. That's a win.
I mean, if you showed some of his highlights from that game to someone who didn't watch the game, you'd think we lost 44-10,
Yeah.
The fact that we held him to 13 and he was so productive is kind of a miracle.
But so my thing is, go ahead. You want to finish that?
No, I was going to move on to something else. So go ahead.
Well, no, we have that guy, and he's not. Look, I know I'm going to probably take some shit for this. Travis Homer against who did he play? We played somebody home, Tennessee, and it was like 2-minute drill when we executed the most beautiful 2-minute drill I've ever seen. Right? He caught one in the flats and outran the corner, and I was like, okay, wait, that's a different gear of speed that not a lot of running backs have. Like he beat them to the corner, and he beat him so bad that he's like, well, I'm not going to step out of bounds. Like turn it up for another 8 to 10 yards. And so, protection first, right? But once they're not bringing, get into your routes and get into the check down. And like the check down, even Peyton and Eli on their show, they were over and over hammering like, oh, throw the check down. And of course, Winston and he was a lot of success.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to shout out real quick was, and we've been calling for it on this show, so shout out to Gerald Everett. They were using him in some unique ways. They were even handing it to him on an end around, and he got like 12 yards. Guy's a beast. We need to use him more. Nice to see him get used a little bit there in the game. Early thoughts on Jacksonville. Usually, guys, we would put out 2 episodes, but you guys can hear my voice. So let's just talk about Jacksonville. We'll put out 1 episode this week.
Keep it rolling.
Hit you guys next week with 2 episodes as usual. But Lofa, early thoughts on the Jacksonville game coming up. They come into Seattle, and we're 0-3 at home for the first time since 1992. So how are we going to get that W against Jacksonville?
I haven't seen a lot of them, but I mean, they got 1 win, 2 wins. How many they got? They can't be.
I believe I'm not sure what they did this weekend because we've been running around, but they got 1.
I think we caught another team off their bye week is what I think.
Oh, okay.
I think so. They're well rested. Awesome. Whoever makes the schedule hates us. I mean, it's like this happens every year.
Guys, I've got 2 cracking games. 1 Seahawks game. The Sounders played this weekend. I'm playing Canadian fantasy football. I don't know what Jacksonville did this week.
Yeah. I think their last game was against Miami and London, and they pulled out a nail biter. So, Urban looks mad right there. Trevor has a great head of hair. I mean, if we're talking about the pictures, that's what I'm going off of right now. But I mean, we got it. This is a must win. All right, I'll put it out there before you even ask.
Capital MUST, right? All caps.
Oh man, caps lock that thing. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, dude. So I'm just gonna have to go check up their stats real quick because
I will give my score prediction as we do every weekend for the upcoming game. Here's mine. The Seahawks need to win this game 68-0, and if they don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm predicting an absolute blowout win. I think Geno Smith throws for 4 touchdowns. I think that Alex Collins runs for 2 more. And I think we wax the Jacksonville Jaguars because Pete is pissed. Ken Norton Jr. has got to be pissed. Shane Waldron is that hire so far is an absolute dud. So he's going to be motivated. Waldron's going to go from dud to stud. And we're going to mop the floors with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what's going to happen this upcoming Sunday at Lumen. Don't call it CenturyLink. Don't call it Quest Field. I'm still vamping for my man. Do you want me to vamp some more? I can if you want. I think
we're good. I'm looking at him now.
3 interceptions, 2 run back for touchdowns. I don't know.
Going to get a third of the ones he predicted. I like it.
Hey,
I like it.
I think Jamal gets a sack. I think he takes down the blonde bombshell known as Trevor Lawrence. I think Jamal's going to get his first sack too.
I mean, they've played everybody very close. It's preseason. That doesn't count. But, they do the 2 games that, they kind of got beat up on, Cardinals and the Titans, 2 teams. Well, one that we've already faced and then one that we will be facing twice. So, there's cause for concern there now that I look at it because, when you get to not until you get to like halfway through the season, 7, 8 games or 7.5 or what is it, 9 these days? I don't know. 17 games, 8.5, right? But when you get to the halfway point, you can look back and you can kind of see, okay, who's done what versus whom, right? And were they quality wins? Were they close wins? And then, like I said, you're going to see like some teams that they start to separate, but there's going to be teams that get blown out. And like, especially right around this point, that's what I'm really encouraged by us. we're in all of these games.
Right.
The sign of a bad team is they show up one week, they just get blown out the next week or 2 weeks. And so I'm very excited to see that. But like I said, there is cause for concern because not without knowing where they rank statistically, they're doing some things out here, man, even at 1-5.
Yeah, well, the Seahawks look up. Some silver lining, if you're looking for that, is that I think there's 6 teams in the NFC right now that only have 3 wins or less, or maybe that don't even have over 3 wins or something like that. So I mean, the Seahawks, they're only 1 game out of a playoff spot, even being 5 games back in the NFC West. So I mean, playoffs are still there; they're still in play, and they got to go get it. Starting with this weekend, let's move on to our zone in segment. While I take a drink real quick, and Katie mutes it, and I cough. Oh wait, we didn't. Sorry. Before we move on, though, Lofa, we have to get your prediction for the game. What's the score?
Well, I think we're going to have to go with the same game plan. I'm going to go low scoring. It's not going to be 13-10, I don't think. But, maybe like 18-14 or 17-14. It's going to be low scoring because I think it's going to have to be. And, they do have a formidable running attack with Robinson. I was looking at one game, he had like 150 versus the Titans. Why is he only getting 15 carries? I mean, that's ludicrous.
Yeah.
So, I'm going 17-14 Hawks.
Okay, well, let's zone in because we got some stuff to talk about from the game last night that didn't happen on the field. We zone in because Lofa's company is Zone In CBD. Will it help my voice? Could I get a tincture for this thing?
It couldn't get any worse, bro. Go get some oil. Yeah, go get some oil.
I'll lube this thing up, yeah. ZoneInCBD.com, everybody. Use the promo code
Believe, BLEAV,
for 20% off your purchase. Okay. Aside from what happened on the field last night, Lofa, at Lumen Field, how cool was last night?
Man, it was lit, as the kids say.
Yeah, Lofa's quarterback, number 8, Matthew Hasselbeck, gets up into the Ring of Honor. And Lofa, I mean, you know me, I'm a huge Hasselbeck fan. Always was, you guys going to the Super Bowl and all of that. And I mean, he's your guy. Go ahead, just heap some praise on your guy. And then I'm going to talk about how lit and fire his speech was.
Yeah. I mean, it was just epic, man. Me and Matt both grew up in a small town back in Massachusetts. He's from Norfolk. I'm from Plainville. It's known as the Tri-Town because there's also the great town of Rentham that we represent. And so to see someone that you grew up with and then someone that you played with, achieve such an honor, the Ring of Honor, man, it's incredible. And it was, just like watching Hutch go in the Hall of Fame. We got to see my guy Hass, going to the Ring of Honor. So it's been amazing. Even the wins notwithstanding, it's been amazing at Lumen this year. And so, but I got even a surprise myself because I was in the booth and I didn't know that the sign was right there. So I rolled all the way down to the bottom, just because I wanted to get a good seat, and I was recording it. And then they're like, "Hey, Loaf, help us lift this." And I was like, "Yeah, what is that?" I was like, "Oh, that's the sign. That's the 8. That's the Hasselbeck." Yeah. So I got a pleasant surprise, and I got to help lift it. That was totally not planned. I just didn't even know. I was wondering. I was looking around. I was like, "Where?" Yeah, I was like, "Where is the spot? Where's his name going?" And I couldn't find it for an obvious reason. It was right under me. Right there. But it was. Yeah, and then you got to meet him, man. I mean, there's the picture right there. You and producer Katie.
Picture of producer Katie and I. His sweet getting to meet Matt. And
his speech was insane, right?
Lofa. So Katie and I are still up in the 300 section for his speech, and man, I mean, he starts. You guys, he had his hands in his pockets, no note cards, totally from the heart and off the cuff. And he delivered with such passion. He called out, he starts going, Seahawks fans from Idaho and Alaska and Hawaii, and everyone just starts standing up, screaming their heads off. And he talks about how his name's going up there, about how He couldn't have done it without all his teammates, of course. He starts naming guys off by name. And Lofa, he saved you for last, I think. And when he said, and Lofa Tatupu, I mean, the place, Lofa, if there was a roof on it, it would have come completely off. The place went absolutely bananas. And I'm wiping tears out of my eyes. I mean, it was electric. I was yelling, Matt Hasselbeck for president at the top of my lungs.
Everybody was, partner. I mean, and to have his kids there and Sarah's wife, I mean, because I don't think they should remember going to the games, right? I mean, ESPN did a beautiful tribute where they had his last game, both of our last game, Beastquake, and he was walking with his son, Henry, H2. I gave him that nickname when he was a little guy. He's walking with H2 on his shoulders and off the field. And it's just like, it's like movie type stuff that you can't, you have to write it for any of that stuff to kind of like seem real. But I was there and it was insane to relive it. And like I said, just to have them see how much Matt means to, not just Seattle, not just Washington, but the NFL. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know they felt the love and the energy that everybody has for him. Absolute class act, man. And, they always say, right, guys, like they say, you shouldn't meet your heroes, right? I beg to differ. What a gentleman. Just couldn't be nicer. He's hilarious too, isn't he? Great handshake. His wife, super sweet. Nice to meet her. And I'll just say, Lofa, being in a room with all of you guys, I mean, Matt, you, Chris Gray, Robbie Tobeck, the heater was there, David Hawthorne, Robert Turbin's in the room, Cliff Averill, Big Walter Jones, Kenny Easley was in there. I mean, and to watch all of you guys, especially who played on that Super Bowl team, and your chemistry that you guys still have, and to be a fly on that wall, so to speak, and just kind of fade into the back of the room and watch you guys still laughing with each other and patting each other on the back and having fun with each other and the inside jokes that you guys all have and everything. I mean, it was awesome, man, for me as a fan to be there and to see that and to see that it's just all real and all love. And it was just such a cool moment. And it's just a bunch of big kids. Yeah, exactly. Just making fun of each other. Yeah, exactly. What a night. It's amazing, right? It's but there's it's a special bond when you go through what we've been through together. All the wins, all the losses, and so it's kind of why I'm always trying to be so positive because it's a hard it's a hard career that I don't think and but if you do it right like Matthew did, you get to look back and see your name in the rafters like he did. So that was incredible. If you guys get a chance, all you Seahawk fans out there, go look up the speech. Look up Steve Rabel, the voice of the Seahawks, introducing Matt. That was wonderful as well. They clearly have a special bond also, and the whole thing was just awesome. So go look it up, everybody. Also, Lofa, getting to meet your lovely wife in person, Rachel, super sweet. Awesome to meet her. Awesome to meet the family. I think we're freezing a little and having technical issues, but we're moving on anyway. Let's wrap this thing up. We're the Seahawks podcast at Believe in Seahawks. You guys can email us. Seahawkspod@gmail.com is the email. If you have questions, comments, want to tell us your stories. Where were you sitting during Monday Night Football? What was your experience like? Share it with us at Seahawkspod@gmail.com. But Lofa, right now, let's break it down. What do you want to break it down to? I mean, we're going to stay right where we're at with Celebrate 8 from my man Hass. Oh, I love that. So put it up. All right. Celebrate 8 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Celebrate 8. Celebrate 8.